Tonight, a watchdog group is suing the National Park Service and the Great Smoky Mountains over an imposed fee to camp in the backcountry.
Well, this is a story we've been following for the last 2 years, and tonight a 6 News investigation is looking into claims in that suit about Blackberry Farm illegally cutting private trails into the Smoky Mountains.
The night team's Alexis hiked 13 miles to see for herself if these claims were true and what the park is doing about it.
It's the most visited national park in the country, with 800 miles of maintained trails and 100 miles of undeveloped backcountry. And David Lee has hiked every mile of it.
We are here, almost 3,000 miles in the park.
David Lee and John Quellen are part of the Southern Forest Watch, a group that promotes access and responsible use of the national parks. 5 years ago, Quellen discovered a series of trails on park property that were not on park maps.
I saw a lot of blazes on the trees that seemed to indicate a particular kind of trail system. And then I saw a sign that was in the ground here that has been since removed.
It was this sign, not one erected by the park, but one from the private resort Blackberry Farm. Blackberry Farm's property sits right on the border of the park. Quellen says this map box was previously on park property, and inside was a map from Blackberry Farm that depicted the Boundary Trail and Blair Gap Trail. They're not listed on park maps.
The public probably has no knowledge of this trail system even existing.
For this group, it's all about access. If there are trails being maintained inside park boundaries that are available to some people, they want them to be available to all people. We took those concerns to the Park Service. Because of pending litigation, the Park Service would not speak to us, but through an open records request, we obtained a letter from Chief Ranger Clayton Jordan from this past June to the Vice President of Blackberry Farm. The letter shows the park has known about the trails maintained by Blackberry Farm since 2009.
Who's to decide who's allowed to cut and maintain trails? If I like a certain trail off of Mount LeConte, for instance, why can't I take a chainsaw and just blaze straight down through there? Obviously, that would create an uproar that would not be acceptable.
On our hike in August, there was still evidence of trail maintenance, a cleared path, trees cut with chainsaws, and markings where the blazes used to be painted on the trees. While it is completely legal to hike abandoned trails in the Smokies, it is not legal to maintain them without park permission. In the letter to Blackberry Farms, Ranger Jordan wrote, quote, "Please allow me to repeat that any unauthorized action within park boundaries, no matter how well-intentioned, is not legal."
When you clear cut trees or you create a new trail, you need to see what that's going to do with the rest of the ecosystem. Are you silting up a particular stream or acidifying the soil? These are things that the National Park Service usually is pretty good about.
According to the park's website, failure to follow park regulations may result in a fine of up to $5,000 per violation and/or 6 months in jail. But in the letter from Jordan, it says because actions by Blackberry Farms did not cause negligible resource damage and no negative impact to park visitor experience, quote, taking criminal or civil action against Blackberry Farm would be inappropriate.
Well, I think the rules ought to be the same for everybody. I guess that's my basic concern, not that anybody's getting any special privilege.
In the letter, it says the resort is working to create a new trail on their property and plans to remove reference to the abandoned park trail from their maps. On your side in the Smokies, Alexis, 6 News.
Now, a court date for the lawsuit against the park has not been set, and while Blackberry Farm is not a defendant named in the suit, when we did reach out to them for comment on this story, they said it would be inappropriate to comment.